Good morning.
Morning.
Where are the other Kenyans? So they slept in. Let's give them like 3 minutes, right?
Okay.
Seems the other people are not joining yet, right? So I think we'll just go on. Mwasi, what do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Monday. We need to start the class, right? Well,
But they're joining. We can give them some minutes.
no, they'll join. You see, they were supposed to have joined. Actually, I normally leave this platform open. You can even join at midnight. Have you ever realized so?
Oh,
Ideally, I'm supposed to restrict you to join strictly at 8, but I leave it open. You can even join as early as 7. And I do that deliberately so that you can check your systems before the class to avoid the inconveniences during the class. I think that is fair enough, isn't it?
yes.
So they'll find us somewhere on the way. Well, in the previous, you can mute yourself, Moasi. So in the previous topic, we were looking at the executors accounts, basically the pro forma accounts. Looked at the capital account, we looked at the income statement accounts, and basically that's what now the executor is supposed to prepare, or the preliminary accounts that are supposed to be prepared by the executor and passed on to the beneficiary. And I decided to give you an assignment. I was doing what we call the deductive approach because I wanted now to test your understanding on the topic. I've checked a few yesterday and this morning, and from the way people are reciprocating, I don't know. I don't know what is not happening. There seems to be still some gaps. Uh, there are some people also who decided not to respond to the assignment for reasons known to them. But it's okay. What do we do? It's past the deadline. So we'll give them a 0 and proceed. Yeah. So I wanted us to look at the Mali Mengi, the question, because in absence of the understanding, no, the way these topics are set, you go to understand the executor's account before you go to the trust law. Because the work of the trustee is more or less like the work of the executor. It's only now that a trustee will be actioning on behalf of the testator, whether they are alive or dead. But for the executor will be coming where we have the person who is being represented is already deceased, whether testate or intestate. So allow me to share my screen. I should put this screen. Yeah, we have the Malimengi assignment. This was the question. And you've been given the balances of the estates or the statements as follows. Then we got the extracts from the Malimengi bequests as follows. And this is where you start attempting this question. Whenever you're given such a question, other than the statement of the accounts, the devil is in the details. So you really need to know the additional information and what the executors will ascertain after now getting the information. So you've been told that there were sons. You have Kikwajuni, Mnazini, and Mwebeni, who received each 1 million. To my wife, Darajani, I leave my furniture, household, and personal effects, and the residue of my estate. To mean, after we pay the debts and share all the bequests, all the legacies, whatever will remain is what will go now to Darajani, the wife. You remember the distribes rule. It will come in handy. Then we have to my daughter Nanjale, my freehold house, free of all duties, and the house was subject to a mortgage of 1 million, carrying interest at 24% per annum, payable on 31st March and 30th September. So they are doing 2 installments, and duty on the house amount to 130. So if you look at the statement, you can see what is happening on the statement. You have the mortgage on the house, and you can see that the last time it was paid was on 31st March. So you'll be able to calculate that. Then to my friend Kisitu, one of the motor cars owned by me at the time of my death, and he may choose, right? So we'll see whether there was a choice later on. To my friend Mulungu, 100,000. To my sister-in-law, 300,000. Not specific. We'll see how to treat it. To my cousin Nipa, my painting of Mausoleum by Kikuvu. To my driver, Deleva, 150,000. To my friend Shimba, and on and on. Then from there, we've been told that Malimengi executors ascertained the following beneficiaries were dead. So you have son Mnazini died in 1997, leaving a wife and 2 children. So we draw now the spanner into works. What does that mean? One of the sons, Mnazini, we are told that died in 1997, leaving a wife and 2 children. Talk to me. Mercy,
That's the question.
how are we going to treat it? San Munazini died in 1997, leaving a wife and 2 children. In the
I think we
extract,
are going to divide the
mhm.
1 million from Nazini between the 2 children.
Okay. But in this particular case, you see, we are recognizing Munazini, not the children.
Okay, because Munazini died, there is no need of passing the money to the dead person. So that is why I thought the children were to inherit.
Will the legacy hold? Will the money be passed?
Oh, okay.
Now you see, we have a
I
wife.
think no, because he died before Malimengi.
You see, San Munazini died in 1997, leaving a wife and 2 children. What does the law of succession state? You see, we have to be guided by something, isn't it? And we had indicated in a situation where the beneficiary is deceased, the heirs are supposed to take over, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes.
But you have a wife and you have 2 children. I need the argument on the wife. Will the wife be subjected to the bequest? Will the wife inherit or benefit from the 1 million?
No.
Why? No. Why? You see now the argument. You are supposed now to give me the argument. This trust law. Why?
Teacher, because the wife is entitled to household effects. So, and there was no those household effects. So to me, I don't think that she's supposed to get anything.
Whose death are we contesting? Malimengi or Munazini?
Munazini is 1 million.
No, you see, the what we are sharing is Malimengi's. It's not Munazini's, isn't it? And Munazini was a son to Malimengi. So he qualifies for the 1 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
So our argument should be the reason why wife to Munazini will not inherit anything in the 1 million is because a widow cannot inherit the property of any person other than her husband. We know that, isn't it? So there is no the wife will inherit Marimengi because he was the father, he was not the husband. You see my argument?
Yeah.
And then to the children, we can say the past rights rule, it stipulates that if there is a beneficiary, right, and that beneficiary predeceased the testator, the beneficiary share of inheritance will go to the heirs. You get the argument? So
yes.
we have 2 arguments to it. First, the widow to Munazini is not a beneficiary because of he's not widowed to Malimengi. Are we there?
Yes.
And the argument is a widow cannot inherit the property of any person other than her husband. And then the second one, we are being guided now by the past rights rule. Then we have the second one. San Mwembeni died in 1998, leaving a wife. Our first argument still holds, isn't it? The wife is not a widow to Malimengi. So in that case, and there are no heirs, then in that case, no one will benefit. Now we'll go on. And this is the argument that I was expecting in your response. Then the other, we have, I don't know what has happened to my, yeah, then we have the number 3. Sister Malindi died in 1996, leaving 2 daughters. Come on, guys. Will the sister benefit?
No.
What are the provisions of, what are the presumptions of survivorship? Why will the sister Malindi, who died in 1996, leaving 2 daughters, will not benefit? Again, we will be guided by the law of succession. Are we there? Then we have driver Deleva, age 60, died in the same accident as Malimengi. It was impossible to determine the order in which Malimengi and Deleva died. Now, to start with the legacy hold for Deleva?
No.
Because of?
Because first, we don't know who died first, and second, there is no need to pass money to a dead person, and thirdly, we never knew anyone who was to inherit the Leva's money.
Yeah, good argument. Another perspective?
Because Malimenki was older than the deliver.
So?
It is assumed that he predeceased the testator.
So the legacy will fail due to?
Lapse.
Exactly. That is the word I was looking for. So the legacy to deliver will fail due to lapse. And the assumption is deliver predeceased the testator. If you recall when you are talking of the presumption of survivorship, and you are saying where 2 or more persons dies in circumstances rendering it uncertain, or who survived who, we look at their age, isn't it? If it is a situation, let's say, where the father was on board with the sons, we'll assume that the father died first. But in this case, there is a reason why the examiner is giving you the age. If you look at the question up there at the start, we've been told that Malimengi was, that is the starting question, the starting statement. Malimengi, age 57.
57.
Died in a road accident. Whenever you see the age being mentioned, know that there will be a catch somewhere. So in this case, on our presumption of survivorship, we assume that Deleva, who was 60 years at the time of death, predeceased Malimengi. So in this case, the legacy will not hold because of lapse. Are you getting the argument?
Yes.
Then we are told that the executor also advised that Kisitu chose Toyota Corolla. Then Malimengi sold his painting of mausoleum using the proceeds to purchase his holding in Sokomjinga Limited. What does this tell us? Up there, in the additional information, this additional information number 7. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
We've been told that to my cousin, to my cousin Nipa, my painting of mausoleum by Kikovu.
Kikovu.
And then you've been told down there that the executor advised that Mali Mengi sold his painting of the mausoleum using the proceeds to purchase his holding in Sokomjinga. What does that make the gift that was supposed to be given to Nipa? What will be the impact? What is the implication to the cousin's gift?
It will fail.
Will the legacy hold?
No.
No,
Why will it fail?
it will fail due to adoption.
Exactly. It will fail due to redemption. So that should be the argument. We say that when the gift specifically bequested does not exist within the testator's property at the time of death, because at this time it had already been converted into something else, isn't it? Then it does not hold. It is not traceable. We cannot trace it. So it will not be assented because of redemption. Then we've been told there is no such investment as 110% Kenya stock. The referees in the will to 110% is thought to be a typing error, not previously noticed. Will it hold? Will the gift hold? The gift number 3.
Yes,
It will hold. What's the argument?
But how will it hold and there was no such investment? Regina, please explain. Regina.
Regina, you are saying it will hold. Support your answer. We've been told there is no such investment as 110 Kenyan stock. Why will it hold? Regina, you are now quiet.
I think because you already had the investment in the Kenya stock of 165,000. So it will hold.
So what will hold? It is 165.
The 165.
So the 110 will not hold.
Yeah.
Because of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, is an error, and you've been told is an error. We said where the will establishes that it was an error, it was a typing error, it will be assumed that it did not exist. You recall when you were talking of the characteristics of a will? You recall?
Yeah. Yes.
So in this case, it's only the 10% Kenyan stock that will hold, because that one you are sure is 165. So we proceed. Then we've been told that there is no, Jirani replied in writing that he did not want anything from Malimengi because Malimengi was a bad neighbor. Will the legacy hold or fail?
It will fail.
It will fail, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because we have a disclaimer already that the neighbor is not interested in the gift. And we said that a beneficiary can always disclaim a legacy. And if they do so, then we are going to eliminate it, or it's going to be scrapped. Now, the assumption is it is either unfair or it was given due to unreasonable conditions. You recall when we were saying that, for example, if Malimingi said that for Jirani to get the 50,000, they had to, let's say, for example, kill the next neighbor. it will still not hold because of the unreasonable condition. Are you getting? So in this case, there is a disclaimer from Jirani, and therefore the legacy will fail. And then lastly, Malimengi paid.
Sir, pardon.
Yes.
Pardon for Jirani.
You said that it will not hold. The legacy will fail. There is a disclaimer. Jirani has said that Malimengi was not a good neighbor, and therefore they have withdrawn their interest in the gift that was bequested to them. And I was giving a related, I was saying that it's like a case of where a gift is given subject to an unreasonable condition. For example, Malimengi could still ask Jirani to kill the next neighbor for them to get 50,000. The legacy will still have failed because of the disclaimer and the unreasonable condition. Is it understandable?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Then we have the last one. Malimengi paid 100,000 during his life to his sister Dada to establish a business. Will the legacy hold?
No,
Why?
due to redemption.
Exactly. The gift will fail due to redemption. So having said all this, and this is what you are expected to answer in part 2, so we've been left with a statement showing the distribution of Malimengi's estate on 1st May 2000, when we have now the executor doing the books. So you can go back to the preliminary statement, and this is what will guide us. So we want to prepare the statement of distribution of Malimengi's asset 1st May of 2000 after his death. So we are going to have all the accounts. Now the cash in the bank, let me just work from Excel. Let me stop sharing this. You have the question on your end, isn't it? Can you share? Are you able to see my Excel? So we are talking of Malimengi. You can open the question. You have the question somewhere, isn't it? So we are talking of the statement of distribution as at 1st May. What was the year? 2000. So I can go back to the question. Are you on the question? I want us to go together. So we have cash in the bank. It is not adulterated, so we'll still take as it is. The freehold house, yeah, we are told there are duties, but the freehold will still remain as freehold house, the value. We have the Toyota Corolla. We have Nissan Sunny, television and music system, dead due from Pungufu, furniture and personal effects. We have the 10,000 ordinary shares in Cement Limited. We have 4,500 ordinary shares in Sokomjinga Limited. We have the 800,000, 10% Kenyan stock. Income received. Now we can pick all these values until Let me see. All these values. In the interest of time, I want to pick the summary. So the only thing that you are going to eliminate is from this end. All these amounts hold. Are you able to see my screen? Confirm you can see my screen. Can push this to the watu, munaona screen yangu?
Yes.
I make it a bit bigger. It's now better, right? So I've said we are going to pick all the other amounts as they were because nothing is changing. We got the cash in bank account. We have the freehold house, the Toyota Corolla. We have the Nissan Sunny, all the way to the Kenyan stock, right? So these are the assets. These are the assets. We are preparing the statement, so we are taking the assets first. If you look at the question, we've been told that the income that we are going to draw, or the income received to date, we had the interest of 230, and we got dividends from Sokomjinga of 37. Once we less the mortgage interest paid, we are left with 120, isn't it? So that's an asset. So the income that is received to date, income received to date is 120. Which other assets do we have? If you look at the additional information, we have number 3. We've been told that to my daughter Nanjale, my freehold house free of all duty. So Nanjale is getting the house, and we know that the house is worth 3.25 million. But there is an additional information there. The house was subject to a mortgage of 1 million, carrying interest. So it was a mortgage on interest of 24% per annum, payable on 31st March and 30th September. And the duty on the house amounted to 130. So you can get the interest. What's the value of the house? It is 1 million, isn't it?
Yes.
So you can have this working for me. So we are getting the 24% of 1 million. And also consider the duration. There is a reason why you are being told that it's between 31st March and 30th September. We know that interest is charged per annum, isn't it?
Yes.
But this one we are going to apportion. So our interest will run for how many months?
6
months.
So what will be the recoverable from Nanjale? I'm waiting for the figure. What do you get? What is 24% of 1 million?
240.
We multiply by 6 months or half an year. So 6/12.
120.
120. But that is due between March and
September.
September. When did Marimengi die?
1999 December.
So are we going to consider the...
Yes, from January to March.
From January to March. So we are taking only 3 months because the other amount had already been. It's going to reflect in the income statement of Malimengi because that interest was earned before he died. So whatever we are going to consider is what he had not earned until after death, isn't it?
Yes.
So can we go further and reduce that amount now by 3 months?
60.
Or rather, we know the amount is 120, isn't it? But the amount that had already been paid to Malimengi was 60. So whatever is remaining is only 60.
It's 60.
Are we together? Is everyone on board? Did we lose some people?
Yes.
Do you have any other asset listed? The mortgage and the house in themselves are liabilities because they've not been paid for. They have some amount, they have some duty pending. Then, of course, the interest that will not have been paid and was due in April will also be a liability. It is outstanding. It has to be cleared by the executor before we share the proceeds or before we go to the legacies. Isn't it? I'm waiting for you to peruse through and tell me whether there is any other asset that you've forgotten. So if there is not any other assets, then you can add this and just get the sum. Can take advantage of the Excel formula. So I'm taking the sum of all the assets. So my assets are totaling to 10,442. Yeah. Came to think of I'm trying to look at the figure for the interest. The figure for the interest is not 120. Look at your income, supposed to be 147, isn't it?
Yeah.
120 is the mortgage paid on 31st March. So this should be 147, sorry. So you have this figure, can put it in bold. So these are the assets. Should have indicated here. Assets. And we are giving them in thousands. So from there we go now to the liabilities. Can push it a bit. Now in the liabilities, we start with the obvious ones. Our first liability is the mortgage. You know, a mortgage is a privilege that you've been given until you make the last and final pay. What's the value of the mortgage?
1 million.
It's 1 million. Can put 1,000 here. Then we have the duty. We have the duty that was payable. Duty payable. It is in our additional information number 3. Showed that the value of the duty is
130,000.
130,000. Any other liability? We have the interest that is due. If you look at the last statement of number 3, we have the interest that is due. What is the interest due?
120.
Is 120. So we are again getting the 24%. Now the remainder. So we have I'm trying to multitask, coming from my equation, going back to the screen that I have shared. So we are talking of the mortgage interest, and it should be specific. We are talking of the period in April, and you say that it will be the 24% of 1 million, which is 120. Any other liability?
Yeah, 24 times 1 million is 120.
It's for 1 month. So we are prorating. We divide the answer by 12.
Okay.
For 1 month, isn't it?
Yes.
24% of 1 million multiplied by 1/12 or divided by 12 to get 1 month. You see the interest is for 1 year. So to get for 1 month, you divide the answer by 12.
Okay.
It should have indicated here. It's bringing confusion. So we are talking of 24% multiplied by 1M, right? Divide by, I'm trying to look at the division sign. Do I have it? There, divide by 12. It's now a bit clear. Do you have any other liability that's pending that need to be cleared before we share the proceeds? Do we?
No.
The mortgage interest is not 120. When you calculate that, you get 20.
We get
20,000.
Oh, it's 20.
20.
Yeah.
Who gave me 120? You see, I'm relying on your figures.
I think it's supposed to be 6 months, not 1 month.
Supposed to be 6 months.
Yeah.
Why 6
But
months?
they
March.
prepared it on May. So we take from March to April 30th. Sure.
Yes?
The
Not
6
from
months
March.
will have 1 month.
Look at the additional information. Read the additional information. It's a matter of understanding. It is from?
That 1st March to 30th September. That is the
September.
interest due. But they prepared the statement on 1st May 2000.
So we are
So do
talking
we
of
take from that 1st March to 30th September or from that 1st March to 30th April?
We are going to take from 31st March to 30th April.
Yes.
That's 1 month, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other people who are saying 6 months. What's the argument? We are sharing after the death, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the period between after the death, that is shareable. So the pending liability until death is what was not paid until 1st May, when the executors are now preparing the books, and that is 1 month. 31st March is end of the month. So it's more or less like taking from 1st April to 30th April. Are we together?
Yes.
I'm trying to peruse through to see whether we have any other liability. That's all. So this will give me the total liability. So it's equal to the sum of the three. Can put it in bold. Excuse me. So we subtract this amount to know the, we subtract this to know the income that will be now shareable. So
93, 19.
93, 19. I can
Yeah.
just do it here. Yeah, we are getting 93, 19. So this is the assets shareable. Can we now go to the legacies and start sharing this money? Because it should be portrayed now in the statement of distribution. And this is the final distribution. So it's not pro forma. In our previous topic, you were talking of now the pro forma. We are sharing par. But here we are including everything in the Malimengi's account. So you go now to the legacies. What is the order? We start with the specific before you go to the general. So specific legacies. And the first one to come in, we now follow the order. We have the wife, Darajani. What did she get?
Furniture and household and personal effects.
So we have the furniture. What else? The
Furniture and
TV.
personal effects.
Let us be specific. And music system, isn't it?
Yes.
What's the total?
407.
407.
Yeah.
Then from Darajani, we have the daughter. We said that the number 2.
We take the amount of the free household.
Which is 3250. So you have
Yeah.
Nanjale. Just indicate daughter for elimination of doubt. 3250. You go on. Ensure that no one is left out.
Kisitu.
So we have Kisitu, the friend. And Kisitu, initially it was general, isn't it? It was general. It was demonstrative, let's say, because he had been told that one of the motor cars. So Kisitu went for Toyota Corolla. So it's good to indicate here is Toyota Corolla. What's the value?
360.
360.
360. Who is next? From Kisitu, who is next?
Personal assistant, sijapata.
That is number?
Number 11.
But we have you have jumped Mulungu, we have the sister-in-law, but Mulungu is,
Mulungu is general because we have
Mulungu
not
is
told where
general.
the 100,000 is going to come from. Yeah.
Sure. What about number 9? Shimba? I thought number 9 is also specific. Huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Shimba is specific, isn't it?
Yes.
You be told to my friend Shimba, my holding of 800, 110 Kenya stock. And we are told that Marimengi owned Shimba 100,000. You see, this 110% was featuring somewhere. And you said it was a typing error. So what are we going to take?
The 100,000.
The 100,000?
No, 165.
165. We lost the.
What are we going to take? We said you are going to take the 165, isn't it?
Yeah.
What we have is 165. The other one has been, the executors have indicated it was a typing error. So we go with what is documented. So for Shimba.
So what about the 100?
The 100,000, yeah.
The 100,000, that's the debt.
Don't we less it from the 165?
No, we are not going to less it from 120. The debt has to be paid. You see, when I gift you, it does not mean that you are going to deduct your debt from your legacy. Are we together?
Okay.
To my friend Shimba, my holding, which is, but when we are told that Malimengi owned Shimba 100,000, is the duty of the executor to pay the 100,000 to Shimba. This was a debt, but the legacy has to be met without any compromise. And the legacy is of 165. It's very specific. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah, the legacy is specific. From Shimba?
By 11, personal assistant.
Yeah, we have personal assistant called Sijapata. What's the amount?
600.
We've been told that it is 5,000 shares in the cement.
Yeah, times 120 because per share it was 120.
Exactly. So we can just indicate here 5,000 shares. So that will give us 600.
600.
Correct. Who
Miss
follows?
Sinani.
We have Sinani. Just indicate Miss. Sinani is getting 4,000 ordinary shares in the Senate. So it's 4,000 multiplied by
120.
Yeah, 120. So you get 480. Correct. Let me pull this a bit up.
Shaibu, nephew Shaibu.
Yeah, we have Shaibu. He's the nephew. How does he get?
120.
120. Proceeds on sale of?
Is the remaining from the cement limited.
Exactly. So is the proceeds of 1,000 shares. Can indicate here.
Yeah.
1,000 shares. So multiply by 120, that gives us 120,000. So we can also indicate that these were 4,000 shares. Then do you have any other specific
No.
legacy?
No.
That's all.
Yeah.
I'm getting low on power. Allow me to plug in. So these, we total this. So this is the sum. So we go to the general. So make this bold. Now this is the way you are supposed to attempt these questions, even in the exam. See, when they are this way, it's very easy even to allocate the marks, and you'll know that there is no confusion. Yeah, so we now go to the general.
Yes. Start from sons.
Yeah, we start from the sons. We have to each of my sons, Ikwajuni, Mnazini, and Mwembeni, 1 million.
We take from Nazini and Kikwajuni.
We take from Kikwajuni and Nazini.
Yes.
I'm going back to what I'm sharing. So we have son, Kikwajuni, 1,000. And we have the next one is called
Nazini.
Nazini. There are those people who had not joined when we were talking of the legacies that will fail. And we said Mwembeni. What did you say about Mwembeni? For the benefit of the Kenyans who had slept in.
We said the legacy will not hold.
Reason being?
Reason being, Mwembeni's wife was not her widow to Malimengi.
Exactly. So we know that from all you are being guided by the laws of succession, that a widow cannot inherit the property of any other person other than the husband. So in this case, it will fail. Then from there,
friend Mulungu.
we have Mulungu, friend. Amount?
150.
100. 150, yes.
There are two amounts, huh?
150.
There is another amount somewhere. I'm trying to navigate through the question.
Number 14.
Number 14.
The first one is number 5, the other one number 14.
So is it not good to amalgamate them? So it's 150 plus?
100 plus 50.
It's 100 plus 50, which is 150.
Oh, it's 100 plus 50.
Yeah.
Don't say 150. You are going to lose some. Yeah, for elimination of doubt, it's good to We go on.
Our nephew Shaibu, 80,000.
Team, are we together?
Yes. Yes.
So we have Shaibu. How are we getting the 80,000?
From 120
remaining.
less 200 and then
120.
we got 80.
So it's the balance from the 200, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we can indicate there and say Shaibu nephew. We have the 200,000, we less 120. That was specific, so we are left with 80. Anything else in the general legacy that has not been covered?
No.
So that's all.
Yeah.
So again, I can get the sum. So we have 230, and this is 5382. So our total legacies will be this amount. We add this amount because this amount is supposed to be a negative. What am I doing? Escape. So this is the total legacies that you are supposed to subtract. We know that the residue is supposed to go to the wife, isn't it? So the residue will be, now I need to, let me make this smaller for everyone to see. You can see. So it will be this amount. This doesn't look like accounting. It's supposed to take this amount to this column. So that down here, I'll have now the difference.
1707.
This minus this. And indicate here, this amount is supposed to be in bold. I should indicate here that this is the residue that is going now to the wife darajani.
Sha. Mbona umechukua 10469 badala ya 9319?
Oh, it's 9319.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll just undo. Should have taken this. So this is the residue legacy that is going out to wife Darajani. It's now okay.
Yeah.
How many people got this answer in the assignment? Nobody as usual. That's a good thing of now doing it together. This is what was expected of you. And more importantly, trying to now navigate and explain the part B. We have indicated why the legacies will not be assented to, or why the legacies will be fading. Any question? Do you have any question?
Are we not supposed to less the Nissan son from the residue because the wife is not entitled to inherit any motor vehicle?
What do you think? Tim, what do you think?
I think so, because from the law of intestate, I think so. Yeah, we're supposed to let the Nissan son because it's a part of the motor vehicles and the wife is not entitled to inherit one.
Whom will we give the motor vehicle to? You see, the argument is no one was bequeathed the Nissan Sunny. If anyone had been bequeathed the Nissan Sunny, we wouldn't have a problem with dishing it out, isn't it? But we've been told categorically that the residue was given to wife Darajani, and part of this residue is the Nissan Sunny.
It's okay.
Yes. The argument is valid, but for this case, we've been told everything. If you recall, we even said that the wife is supposed to get only the personal and the household effect, isn't it? Had we not been guided on the residue, we would say, first, the wife was supposed to take 10% out of the residue of the 10,000, sorry, 10,000 out of the residue of the net estate, isn't it? Or 20%, whichever is greater. And then, of course, the rest will be the life interest if the wife remains a widow. But you see, we cannot assume. Could be after death, Darajani was married by another person. This could have held if we had been guided in the question that she remained a widow. But you see, you cannot go before the examiner. So you go up to the examiner's limit. Had he not guided us, we would have now stipulated what is in the Succession Act. Personal and household effects, then the first 10,000 out of the residue of the net estate, or 20%, whichever is higher. And then life interest, if Darajani remains a widow.
Whichever is greater.
Yes. Any question? If there is no any question, I want to end it here. So this will be the end of our executors accounts. So our next class will be, now we'll start on the trust account. It was wise to use the deductive approach because you've understood better than the other way that you are covering, isn't it? I don't think anyone has now a problem with the executor's account.
Shall I have a question?
Yes.
Why did you say Sister Malindi's legacy will fail?
I'll draw the question to the class. Class,
Regina
why?
was the one who explained it, so
yes, Regina,
she can pardon the explanation.
Why did it fail?
Because of lapse.
No, lapse is no, okay. Why lapse?
Oh,
because Sister Malini predeceased the.
Yes.
Because Sister Malini predeceased the Malimenki.
Exactly. That's the explanation.
But she left 2 daughters. Are they not supposed to inherit her inheritance?
What was the argument?
I don't know. Maybe Regina can explain again.
No, you see the lapse now. Once we say that she does not qualify because she predeceased the testator, it scraps even what was go to the daughters. Had she died after 1st May, then they would have benefited. Are we there?
Yeah.
What is the definition of lapse? The definition is where the beneficiary predeceases the testator. The gift fails. You get? So the definition overrides now the daughters. We don't even need to consider the daughters. We don't even go to the next part of the statement. It is a lapse. The beneficiary predeceases the testator. Had they been in the same vehicle, we would have been guided by the presumption of survivorship. But she predeceased the testator. You now get. So the legacy to the sister failed due to lapse.
Okay.
Yes.
And from Mnazini,
Yes. That was my question too.
the kids of Mnazini,
Yes?
the kids to Mnazini.
That is part number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm now taking me back to the question, which is okay. Now, Mnazini is a son, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to be specific on the date of death.
He died in 1997. He also predeceased Malmengi.
Living?
2 kids.
A wife and 2 kids.
2 kids,
Yes.
yeah.
Now, for the daughter, not for the daughter, for
the sister.
For the sister, you see, the sister is a minus male. Sorry to say so. Yesterday we had International Girl Child's Day.
Minus male.
It's a she. Yeah, minus male means he's not a male. Yeah. When it's not a male, we are guided by the past trips rule. Remember the past trips rule? It stipulates that should a beneficiary predecease the testator, the beneficiary share of inheritance goes to the heirs. And there is a rider. A widow cannot inherit the property of any person other than her husband.
Husband.
Are we there? So here we are being guided by the past trips rule. Although Mnazini died in 1997, he left 2 children. Are you saying we are not considering the wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the wife is not widow to Malimengi. The same argument. The sister is not also widow to Malimengi. We are clear?
Okay. Okay.
Another concern before we wind up the class?
Can you be sharing the recording for the class?
The recordings are shared in the... Where do you watch your recordings from?
It
On the
depends.
portal, you just post them on the portal. Some may watch from YouTube. Anyway.
No, we were advised not to share them in the portal. It was making the portal so heavy. That's why it had some inconsistencies. You're supposed to watch them from the YouTube.
It's okay.
Yes. So you'll go to the
So
YouTube.
how do we get them?
In the YouTube. Do
They are not there.
Do you have the login credentials for the YouTube?
No.
You don't have. So you want the recordings for this particular unit, not the other units.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll ask the ZDS director to share the login credentials for the YouTube.
And also mark for us the registered child. Ni kama hatujai attend class.
No, I've marked the register. I've been marking the registers.
No, yangu ni ya 21st tu ndio iko marked. Ingine
21st
ni kama
of
sijai attend.
21st of
21st of September.
Oh, I remember the preceding class we had a system problem, isn't it? You remember there was a problem on that Monday?
Yeah,
I'll update immediately.
it's okay.
But I'm still the lecturer. Do you know what that means?
No.
That means I know the students who attends the class. I know the students who forwards the assignments. I can even tell them. I don't want to embarrass them, but I have even the names of the students who have not. No, you are only 6. I have even the names of the students who have not given out the assignment. But I don't want to declare to the class who are getting zeros. But I'll check that.
But maybe you can maybe inform them, maybe they had some problem with connection.
It should be the other
Yeah.
way. Regina, it should be the other way. Who had the problem?
How?
You see, I didn't have a problem in posting the assignment. Did I post the assignment?
You did.
Who is supposed to? Mwasi, when you realized there was a problem with the question, you took a step, isn't it?
Yes.
If you realize that you won't be able to hit the deadline, what are you supposed to do? Or are
To
you
inform
saying
you
that
earlier.
are you saying I was supposed to call all of you and ask you why you have not given out your assignment?
Maybe they don't have your number.
My
Maybe.
number is in the portal. Now, do you want to take
Okay.
this argument?
Maybe
Do
they
you
have
want to
not
take this
accessed
argument?
it, so.
Mwasi, have you given out your assignment?
Yeah, I did.
It should not concern you. You see, you have given your assignment.
But they are our friends, teacher, so we have to be concerned about them.
You realize that this class work, eh? Now, for example, if you fail in trust and executorship law, will your friends assist you?
No.
Yeah, it's so simple. When it comes to issues of assignment, you become a separate legal entity. You are separate. You paid your school fees as an individual, not as a group. And I'll be very harsh on those students who are not complying. I don't negotiate with them. That's why I'm doing my work. That's why I come to the class as and when it falls due. Tuko pamoja?
Yeah.
So, I'll
Yes.
also expect the student to reciprocate. We don't have any other way out.
Okay.
Yes. If there is no any other question, I beg to wind up this session. So enjoy your day.
You too.
You too.